This is Don Ewing of GraniteGrok. You oftentimes write for us, and we much appreciate it. And we are standing here with Dan Itse, the Honorable Dan Itse, member of the New Hampshire House of Representatives. Don, you had a question on vouchers.
I did. I had a question. I went to a Granite State Fair Tax meeting. I asked a question of why vouchers were not a good partial solution to this education funding problem. The question was not answered until I went up afterward and pressed the speaker. At that point he said, well, there have been a couple of cases that say that indicate that the New Hampshire Constitution says we cannot have vouchers in New Hampshire.
That's not precise.
So I thought I would ask the person who knows the Constitution better than those who wrote it because they're dead.
There have been court cases in New Hampshire which have determined that if you use vouchers to pay for religious education, that falls afoul of Part 2, Article 83, which states that, after all talking about funding, notwithstanding that no money raised by taxes shall be used for seminaries. That has been, or religious education, the same kind of language is found in Part 1, Article 6.
Okay. Is that for religious education or education given by
religious education? And so what the Supreme Court has said is that as long as money for vouchers is not used for religious education, then it's okay. But then that means that you have to get into the accounting of the school to find out and try and track. It has allowed public money to go to pay for partial state funding at Catholic nursing schools. Yes, and so that was why that caveat was put in there, that it couldn't include religious education. All that notwithstanding, there is an easy way to not fall afoul of this. Abatements.
Like a tax credit?
No, an abatement. A voucher is the government's money that they are giving to you to pay for something. An abatement is money that ought not be collected. If it ought not be collected, then it's your money and the state has no say in how you utilize it.
Okay.
I put in a bill probably 6 years ago or more, I don't really recall anymore, that created abatements for those who educate outside the public venue.
Sounds good to me.
Now, the other thing you can do is you can empower the towns to create abatements, because the lion's share of school funding is at the town level. But to the extent that even though you could contrive a system where because remember Article 28A, so talked about here, where the state could provide money to pay for an abatement of town taxes, thus not impacting the town. These are all things that are going to be explored this session. Representative Carol Vita is introducing what was originally going to be a voucher bill. She was apprised of how vouchers get impacted by the Constitution. It is now going to be an abatement bill.
But if I go back, okay, that sounds really good. If I go back to a strict voucher question, and I think what you said was, as long as the school can show that the money being given to it via the voucher is not used for religious education, then it should pass constitutional muster. So you could have a Catholic school or a Jewish school that says we do nothing with religion until after school,
or some fraction of the budget. But why do you want to even give the state that entree into sticking its nose into the school's intimate business?
I would rather not have the state involved I certainly don't want the feds, and I'd rather not have the states involved in education at all. I'd rather have
And the way you do that is you amend the Constitution. The Constitution used to require that cities and towns adequately provide for education at their own expense until 1968.
Until 1968, we passed the constitutional amendment.
Yes.
So if we unpass such an amendment,
So we need to pass a new constitutional amendment.
yes.
That requires the cities and towns pay for an adequate education, notwithstanding the state. And speak of Carol Vita, this is the woman who is introducing the abatement amendment.
You did a wonderful job, I have to tell you. We had to come back. We went out and we came back in to say you did a good job. Tonight. And yes, we are.
And you put me on as a co-sponsor of the abatement, right?
I have to go back on that though. I got to find out what's going on. I need lots of help from you.
Maybe when your life is on that.
All right.
So we pass the amendment. The amendment says that the cities and towns shall adequately provide for education at their own expense, notwithstanding the legislature may supplement that funding in such manner and extent as the legislature shall determine. Which takes guess who out of the equation entirely. Of course.
Well, that sounds good.
Yeah.
And you're a happy camper with that answer.
I'm a happy camper with that too, because the courts these days are meddling
Yes.
where they don't belong.
And have no authority.
Very good.
But that doesn't seem to bother them.
No, and someday we'll take care of that, but we have to one step at a time.
Well, thank you very much, gentlemen, for taking a few minutes with GraniteGrok.